Drop your hips, man. Your hips are too high. Look at that idiot. His hips are too high. That's not how you deadlift. Without exception, every time we post a deadlift video, some people comment about how my hips are too high, deadlifts aren't done that way, drop your hips, man, that's crazy. Today I'm gonna go over why the hips are where they are in the deadlift and the diagnostic angles you're looking for when you pull. So first of all, full disclosure, I'm about 6'7", and as Rip would say, severely underweight. There's a reason why my hips are the way they are when I pull. I've got really, really long femurs, and it must be remembered that your individual anthropometry will determine the height of your hips relative to the rest of your body when you deadlift. Let's take a look at why this is the case. There will always be certain diagnostic angles that are present at the start of a heavy deadlift. Now, no matter where you set your hips from the beginning, how you set up, when the bar actually leaves the floor, and if it's heavy enough, certain criteria will always be satisfied before the bar actually gets off the floor. You're gonna notice when I set up that my shoulders will be slightly in front of the barbell. The barbell will be over midfoot and directly beneath my scapula, not my shoulders. My back will be in rigid extension, and that's what we're looking for when we start to pull. Now, how high those hips are, as I said, are a function of the length of your legs, the length of your torso, etc. So it's different for everybody. But as I mentioned, no matter how you set up, when the bar is heavy enough, it will always look the same when it comes off the floor. Let's take a look. So when I set up for the deadlift, we're gonna use our same 5-step setup that we always use. Stance, about hip width apart, toes out maybe 10-15 degrees. And the first thing is I wanna take that stance and put the bar 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters from my shins. Now from here, the bar will never move. Step 2, I'm gonna bend at the waist with stiff knees and take a grip just outside of my shins. Again, don't move the barbell. Step 3 is I'm gonna drop my butt until the barbell is in contact with the shins. Now you'll notice the height of my hips. Now the reason why people want to drop their hips is twofold. One, they want to get more quad at the bottom. And secondly, the start position is uncomfortable. And the reason for that is simple. The hamstrings play an important role in the deadlift. They originate at the ischial tuberosity, or your sitting bone, and they insert behind the knee on the tibia, which means they cross two joints. That means they're involved in hip extension and knee flexion. Now, at the bottom of a deadlift, in the correct start position, your hamstrings are going to be tight, and your low back is going to be tight. And each one of those is fighting for position for control of the pelvis, and your low back must win. At the start of the deadlift, if we take our stance and the hips are high, my hamstrings are going to want to pull my butt down and my pelvis this way. My low back wants to pull it into extension. Now the hamstrings are tight, and what people want to do, instead of fighting for this tight position, they're going to want to drop their hips to slack the hamstrings. When this occurs, the barbell will always be kicked a little bit forward. And even if a lifter starts in the low position, when the barbell is heavy enough and they initiate that pull, the hips will snap up to where they need to be first before the bar leaves. So as I said before, doesn't matter how you start the pulling position. If the weight is heavy enough, every single pull will snap you into the correct position before the barbell leaves the floor. Now let's take a look at the diagnostic angles. Step 1 of the 5 will be my stance, 1 inch from the barbell. I'm gonna bend at the waist with stiff knees, take my grip. Now, when I bend my knees so the shins make contact, you'll notice my shoulders are slightly in front of the barbell. I don't want them to drop and be behind, because I'll be on my heels and the bar is gonna want to drift away. Secondly, you'll notice the barbell is over midfoot, but directly beneath my scapula. And the reason for this position is that this is the position which the lats attach at 90 degrees to the humerus, which means they can act on the humerus to pull that arm back to keep the barbell on the shins. This is what it'll look like. Grip, shins, set my back in hard extension, squeeze my chest up, hips stay where they are, drag it up the shins, and set it down. Conversely, if I take my grip, set my shins, and I drop my butt because the position is uncomfortable, look what happens to the barbell. And this isn't terribly heavy, this is 100 kilos, this isn't much weight. Grip, shin, instead of squeezing up because it's uncomfortable, I'm gonna drop my hips, bar's gonna kick, and I'm gonna go forward of midfoot. That's one, a good way to get hurt. And 2, an easy way to miss a heavy deadlift. Keep the hips up, as uncomfortable as it may be, set your back and fight for that position, drag it in a straight line. We hope this helps. Remember, the hips in the deadlift are supposed to be high when you set your shins to the bar. The start position is uncomfortable, and if it's not, you're probably doing it wrong. If you'd like to learn how the barbell can transform your body and literally change your life, there's no better place to be than right here with us at Brussels Barbell. Strength matters. Find yours with us.